I just came to the conclusion. Palestine's going to win this war. It's over for Israel. Now, if you got somebody like me that's willing to pick up a Quran, that says a lot. I'm pretty sure all of us don't agree with none of this injustice going on, no matter who you think is the victim. I mean, how can you think a certain side is the victim? I mean, do y'all have the same algorithm as me? Are y'all seeing the videos? I mean, the Quran got an answer for everything. I'm like, if a God exists, then why would he let this stuff goes on? Then I look at this verse. Corruption has spread on the land and sea as a result of what people's hands have done, so that Allah may cause them to taste the consequences of some of their deeds, and perhaps they might return to the right path. Once I read that, it dawned on me. Israel's going to lose the war. They're winning the battle for sure, but they're going to lose the war. Let me explain. First of all, Islam is the fastest growing religion, and with what's going on lately, I see why. Now, before y'all get on me and tell me Google is not a valid source, I'm just saying, compared with other sources on Google, I'm just saying, the Jewish conversion rate is at 2%. 2%? Oh man, that ain't fair. A lot of the people in Israel aren't even religious. Go figure. I mean, let's be honest. The resilience of these Palestinians is unmatched. And it seems like they always been on the right side of history. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not saying picking the Quran up is an indicator of the outcome of this war, but ain't nobody really picking the Torah up. One of the things I learned through history is that you don't win the minds of the people unless you bury your enemies with respect. So with that being said, that's one of the indicators that people are not going to want to be on the wrong side of history on this one, if you're smart enough.
Family in the Holocaust. I 100% feel comfortable saying that what's happening now to the Palestinian people is another Holocaust.
And they're still saying, Alhamdulillah.
Alhamdulillah.
Muslim Palestinians still seeing them say Allah is all-knowing.
فليش عايشين؟ شو خسارة في ربنا؟ الله خلقنا والله بياخدنا، والله يفعل ما يريد واحنا الحمد لله صابرين.
Palestinians are doing everything that was described Job doing in the Bible.
I've not seen any footage of Palestinian people cursing Jewish people or Israeli people. These are people of God.
I know these people were blessed by Allah himself.
Y'all hold faith with such an indomitable hope.
They don't give up about this life, okay? The only thing these people fear is Allah. That's it.
If this is the campaign to get nations to be Islamic, it's doing it.
I've been shocked to my core at the faith Muslim people have. What is happening in Palestine has opened my eyes to the beauty of Islam.
That's something that people don't get to see often. Definitely not here in the West.
Into the Bible, asking logical questions were not allowed. When I read through the Quran, I see logic and divinity brought together.
The result of that is on social media, I have seen so many people picking up the Quran and reading it.
Through, this entire thing with Palestine, so many more people are learning about Islam. So many more people are reading the Quran. You're gonna have a lot of people turning to Islam soon.
It's happening again. It's like all these people. I see Quran book club. I see people deciding to convert to Islam because they're like, well, what is really going on here?
I just bought my first copy of the Quran.
I got the Quran.
I started reading the Quran.
It's my day 2 in reading the Quran.
How these Palestinians literally are thanking God.
Seeing the brave Palestine people
as they're losing everything.
So much faith and peace while their families are being murdered.
United States, we need a lot more empathy and understanding of Muslims in the Arab world.
I need to know what y'all put in Islam, okay?
Just from reading the second surah, I'm like, I get it. I understand why there's such a steadfast faith to anyone that follows Islam. Being shown just how wrong we were about this faith and how rich, how deep and just the language of it. Ah, how fluid and beautiful it is.
We've been lied to, the Western people. And I took my Shahada. I feel tremendous peace.
Studying the Quran got me out of a 7-figure contract with a couple Zionists. Now, how I ended up in this contract is kind of a long story, but I'll try to make it as simple as possible. So some of you guys remember I had a social media marketing agency. Since I've been on TikTok and Instagram for a minute, I figured out how to use it. And I used to sell social media marketing to a bunch of brick and mortar boomers that really don't know how to use the internet. But after doing this for about a year, I got really bored and I got the business to a place where I didn't even need to be there. Now, while I continued to build this business, I ended up meeting a business broker who became one of my best friends. And so I spoke to him, I wanted to sell the business, he took care of everything for me. It was just a small 6-figure exit, nothing crazy. But see, the investment group that bought the agency also invested in me. This investment group was working as financial backing, and in the future we had plans of releasing some kind of school or class. So I went about everything like normal, and I started studying the Quran and the Kabbalah at the exact same time. So of course, while I'm studying the Kabbalah, they offered to help and teach me and answer any questions that I had. Now at that time, I started speaking on the Quran because everything started to make sense, everything started to click. The more I would learn, the more I would read. Now the way all the bullshit started is they saw these videos and they didn't like them. And they reached out to me saying, hey, why don't you speak on the Kabbalah? Do you have any questions? What do you need to know about it? And I responded back and informed them that I didn't like anything in there so far. I didn't find anything of value, and the morality based around that book is not healthy. And of course, opening my mouth like that created a bit of silence. And I still stand by what I said. I don't like the morality based around the Kabbalah and those series of texts. The mysticism based around the faith that I can't name on here is just teaching people to cause pain and capitalize on other people's pain. But because I frustrated them so much, they ended up breaking contract multiple different times, which put me in a position where I could legally walk away. And of course, in the moment when everything was going down, I was pretty stressed out. Because I truly believed that these people had my best interest in mind. I looked up to them. I wanted to learn from them. But whenever push came to shove, they didn't have my best interest. And I do believe everything happens for a reason, and I really do see this situation as a blessing in disguise. Because if they hadn't lost their temper and broke contract, I could have been sued for a lot of money. But ignore all that bullshit, put all that bullshit aside. I want everybody to understand that no matter what's going on in your life, you should never put a price tag on your freedom.